Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Mike Downer. Welcome to the Integrator Arena Podcast with Brian Wirtz. Brian is a retired Marine who has transitioned into the entrepreneurial world as a fractional integrator for companies running on EOS. Brian now helps others do the same. How are we doing today, Brian?
Doing great, Mike. Looking forward to another great conversation.
We always solve the world's problems, it seems like, in a half hour every time.
That's right.
At least in our opinions of you, isn't that right?
Exactly. And those are the opinions that matter here.
Absolutely, because we're the only two here. So today, Brian, I think what you and I just decided that we were going to discuss was the W3 ecosystem. So
Absolutely.
we are going to help our viewers and listeners understand why W3 was intentionally designed as an ecosystem rather than a single experience. So we're going to explain the gate, the field, and the arena provide distinctive environments that support integrators throughout their development, regardless of where they currently fall on the development continuum. So sounds like we have a lot to cover today. So
definitely
Brian,
a lot to unpack. Yeah,
it is. That's a lot of words in a short amount of time. So the thing about it is every time I talk to you, Brian, I feel like I get a little bit smarter. So I feel a little dumber when I walk into this, and I feel a little smarter when I come out. So that's a good thing.
That's part of life's journey right there. I think we all have those moments.
Got to learn and grow. So, Brian, once you develop the development continuum, what made you realize people also need different environments to support the journey?
Well, so the development continuum shows how people progress from kind of just getting started at the emerging level all the way up to being an expert level integrator. But it alone doesn't necessarily provide the structure and support to help somebody go through that journey. So the ecosystem that goes along with it is actually at each level, how do I learn and grow? And they're not independent to where, at the emerging, I need to do this, and at the developing, I need to do that, and expert. You can be in part of the ecosystem at any place along your journey. It just depends on what your needs are as you go. So the ecosystem is kind of a support structure to help somebody on their individualized growth path as they move forward.
Perfect. So that realization eventually led you to what you call the gate, the field, and the arena. So what's the thinking behind those environments?
Well, I'm gonna just break it down with the analogy of a stadium, right?
Okay.
An arena, stadium, and if you can imagine the locations within a stadium of the gate is where you enter, right? And everybody has to enter the gate, no matter where you're going. Once you enter, you have to come through the gate. Some people are going to go to standing room only and watch from the sideline. Some people are going to go to some of the players are going to go down onto the field and start practicing. And some people might have VIP all access box seats, right? Yep. Everyone comes through the gate. So the gate is the entry point. And regardless of someone's experience and regardless of what they're going to do while they're in the arena or in the Integrator Arena as an ecosystem, the stadium, they're going to come in, and at the gate, it's our online community. And our online community consists of curriculum, which the curriculum is very similar to the episodes we talked about in season 1, kind of the flow of what's an integrator all the way through, like how do you do it, how do you do best practices and continue on. So all that is part of the curriculum. And then there's community discussions, guest speakers, sharing of tools, and it's designed to be this peer environment. Peer, P-E-E-R, not P-U-R-E. Although it should be pure too, right? But it's a peer environment for communication, for learning, and for just having great discussions. So that's the intent of the community. Somebody could be and find value in the community and in the curriculum if they're just learning about what an integrator is. And someone could and should be able to find value if they're an expert level as well. So there should be value to being part of that at the gate level. Now, to take our analogy a step further, so you walk in the gate, where do the players go? They have to get in the gate. Everybody has to come in the gate, but the players are going down to the field, right? This is where coaching happens, right? So we're going to coach people on the field. This is where the players are suiting up. They're going to practice. They're playing games. And we have two types of coaching at the Integrator Arena. We have cohorts, which are peer groups of about 7 integrators who are in integrator seats, working together, learning from each other in facilitated level 10 meetings in that level 10 format on a weekly basis, with monthly coaching, individual one-on-one with their expert integrator leader. Right now, I'm running all the cohorts, so that would be me, but that will probably grow and expand over time. But this is a coaching environment. They have access to everything at the gate level, and they have a lot of added benefits from being in this coaching environment with other integrators. So weekly level 10s, and they're learning from each other. They're covering topics that are going to help them learn faster. They're running meetings. They are scribing during meetings. They're getting hands-on experience on doing some of the tasks, as well as learning how to be more effective after the meeting during their actual full week that they're with their company before they come back. So that's cohort coaching. We also do one-on-one coaching. That could be me talking directly with an integrator once a week. It could be me talking with a visionary on how to support their integrator. It could be me talking with a visionary and integrator together on how to have a more effective visionary and integrator relationship. The bottom line is, whether we're talking about cohort coaching, we're talking about duo coaching, or individual coaching, this is the action on the field. And if you're on the field at the Integrator Arena, you've come through the gate, so you have access to all the gate stuff as well. So, but this is where the active training goes on. And then the arena, I know it's the Integrator Arena, but I think of arena is like literally it's arena level, because you have VIP all access to everything inside there, right? So you've been through the gate, you have access to everything at that level. You either have been through and been a player on the field, you've been part of a cohort, you've been on the field, and you've either done that, or you didn't need that because you already come in with a level of experience that you don't feel like you need that acceleration, right? Because that's really what it is.
Right.
The field is acceleration. So if you're an experienced integrator, but you want to be part of the community, you could come in. And this is kind of a vetted, higher level community, folks that understand the curriculum, that understand how to be effective in the seat. And it doesn't necessarily mean they're all the way up on their continuum, but they've developed a baseline of understanding of what the integrator seat entails. And they're then forming independent cohorts or independent peer groups like masterminds, where at the field level, it's a guided cohort. It's someone like me running a cohort, whereas at the field level, it's independent cohorts. They're forming together into teams. They're still having, rather than weekly meetings, bi-weekly actually works really, really well. It's not so often that it becomes onerous on a weekly basis, but it also is not so infrequent of just once a month, where you almost like don't stay connected with your peer group. So it's every other week. They set their own times. It could be an hour-long meeting. It could be a 90-minute meeting, but it's higher level vetted peers. And what these folks are, they are either integrators out there working in integrator seats within companies, or they're making themselves visible for fractional opportunities within the W3 ecosystem. So it doesn't mean they're going to get fractional opportunities. It just means when those come up, this is really a great place where, if somebody's been through the curriculum, they understand all the basics, this is a wonderful pool for getting out there into fractional integrator work, or potentially being available for placement. So that's how the ecosystem runs. And then you mentioned it at the beginning, and our tagline is you know, winning integrators are not accidental. They're forged. So our community cultivates them. So this is where we bring people in. Our coaching accelerates them. That's the field. So the community bringing them in is at the gate. Our coaching accelerates them on the field. The coaching are those two programs. And then our integrator work forges them. Our integrator work either includes that work we're doing on our own out in the community, out with our companies, and we're bringing it back to the group to learn how to get better and learn from each other, or it's the fractional integrator work that we're doing under the W3 umbrella. But we're doing it, and we're forming peer groups, and we're learning from each other, and that is what makes us stronger and forges us. So our community cultivates them, our coaching accelerates them, and our integrator work forges them.
Makes perfect sense. When you first started talking about the stadium analogy, you were talking about how everyone enters through the gate. So why does everyone begin at the gate regardless of where they are in their development continuum?
It's orientation. It's being able to speak a common language and have a common understanding of some of the best practices that we at W3 use and employ and talk about. And so coming in there, that's the baseline of the community. It's if everyone understands the same terminology, everyone has the same framework of like, what are the integrator imperatives, or what are the best practices that we think and know actually can produce great results when we're out working in a company. It's good to have that common baseline. Now, you and I can have that common baseline, Mike, and you and I are going to do it differently. That is perfectly understandable. That's acceptable. That's embraced and actually celebrated. But it's having that baseline. If we don't have that baseline, it's hard for us to be on the same page. But once we have that baseline, if you and I do it differently, as long as we both know how to anchor to the baseline, we can talk and have common discussions, common language, and that's the key thing. So having everybody come through the gate, understand what W3 is all about, what we think helps integrators become winning integrators. It allows everything that happens subsequently to be more effective. If people just jump forward and say, you know what, I've been doing this for years, I'm experienced, I know, like, I can do this in my sleep, I just want to be in the upper level peer group. Well, to do that, if they're in a peer group with a bunch of people that have gotten this and they haven't, they're going to be missing out on some of the context, and they're going to be bringing ideas in which seem like they're great ideas, but they're just not going to be speaking. Their ideas are going to be on a different platform or a different level than if they had come through the curriculum and did understand everything that's available throughout the community above and beyond just at their level.
Perfect. So once they're through the gate, they've got their base understanding. What changes once someone steps onto the field?
Yeah. So getting on the field, the difference is the gate is very much about, it's at your own speed. You can engage as much or as little as you want. You can watch the curriculum at the pace you want. You can watch the so you can take the curriculum at the pace you want. You can either engage with other members of the community or not. You can come to the events or not, but you're not doing a weekly level 10. You're not forming a direct peer group that you're accountable to on a weekly basis. You're not having monthly one-on-one coachings. You're very much in the self-development zone, and you're at your own pace, but the hands-on of the field is dramatically higher, or doing one-on-one coaching solo without necessarily being part of the peer group. So it's just an entirely different. The field is very hands-on, and quite frankly, it's a hands-on coaching program that someone should enter because that's what they're looking for. That's something that they want to invest in themselves. Whereas the gate's more of like it's a community. It's a chance to start to get educated, start to connect with other people in the community. As you grow, You may or may not ever want to go into the accelerator program, get on the field. Someone may just self-develop themselves right past it and eventually just want to go to the higher tier, the arena, which is fine. Not everybody has to go on to the field, but the field is just a much more hands-on and interactive experience.
No, that makes sense. So, Brian, your tagline says that integrator work forges people. What does that look like inside the arena? So we'll put those two things together.
Yeah, so I'll start with what does forging look like, and we talked about this, I think, a previous episode. So again, forging. Think of forging steel. Think of like, you're refining something, you're turning something, and I think I talked about the sword and the samurai. They become one, right? Like the forging is through experience, through red hot fire and pounding, pounding out the dents, getting people to really embrace development. We're making and refining the effectiveness of integrators, right? So that's the concept of forging. How do you forge somebody without experience, right? How do you forge somebody without context of doing the work of an integrator? We can talk about it. We can read about it. We can learn about it. All of those things are wonderful, and those are going to help us go faster. But ultimately, the best thing to get good at being an integrator is being an integrator, right? So getting people into integrator roles, doing the work, and then talking about it, and then relating it to the things we've read, and then putting it in perspective with our peer groups. That, and getting feedback from our peer group saying, Mike, well, holy cow, man, you really crushed that. Or you saying, hey, Brian, I don't know what you were thinking, but that was a little bit weird, and you might want to reconsider that. That is, both of those comments are part of forging. It's part of helping someone understand what's working, what's not working. How do you refine your approach? How do you refine your practices? How do you become more impactful, more value add to the organizations you're a part of? A high-level peer group combined with actually being in the job so you have stuff to talk about makes for a very powerful combination.
Oh, that makes complete sense. So when you were developing all this, why use the stadium analogy?
I actually tried to get away from it a couple times.
Really?
Yeah, it seemed, in all honesty, I was like, is it too simplistic? Is it a little bit cheesy? Is it, whatever you want to say? But I kept coming back to it. When I think of the Integrator Arena, when I think of the arena, I think of the Teddy Roosevelt quote, "The man in the arena." There's something about an arena. It's where the action happens. And as I look for an analogy that separate, like when I look for an analogy that really captures the fact that we embrace people being on the field, because honestly, the heart of everything I'm talking about is that action on the field. It's the cohorts, it's the weekly engagement, it's getting stronger through repetition. Being on the field is where the action is. And then you think about, well, what's the impact of that? Well, you don't have to stay on the field forever, but that's where the action is, and that's where the huge learning is. And when I started, and I still have this kind of love of the Teddy Roosevelt analogy of the man in the arena. So I'm thinking, like, is there a better way to describe what we're trying to do? We practice, we get good, we want to be part of an elite group. So there's this VIP all access element of it. And then we want to also get people in the door just to start learning, because there's this huge opportunity for pipeline development. When you put all those pieces together, even as I tried to look for another analogy, I couldn't find one that seemed more appropriate and more fitting than an arena, which the Coliseum and where we fight, where we grow, where we win. That's how we forge. We forge by getting in the field. We forge by steel sharpening steel. I really just gravitated to this because it seems to capture the totality of what it is we're doing. We get people in the gate, they learn, we accelerate them by training on the field, and then we help them continue to find value by putting them at this VIP all access level where they're in these vetted peer groups and have the chance to do great work together. And so that's why it just kind of stuck. Partially I could say I couldn't find anything better, but it just seemed to continue to resonate even as I tried to stress test it and find better ways to describe it.
I love it because I'm a sports guy, so I got it right off the bat. I think it paints a great picture in people's heads, and a lot of times when you're trying to describe something, when someone can create a vision in their head, I think it really hits your point home. So I'm saying you're on the right track with that one.
All right, I appreciate that vote of encouragement, Mike.
So that's a comment from the peanut gallery back here. So, but I mean, you had me the whole time, and I could picture things the whole time. So I love it. So I say stick with it. That's my vote.
Welcome to comment. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So why not create one membership experience?
I think it's just a simple and short answer. I think it's just not differentiated enough. There's enough need that kind of stretches the stratosphere that I've kind of I see of where integrators are, this whole continuum, this development need. There's just an exposure and learning need. There's a hands-on getting dirty need, and then there's the long-term need. And so one experience just doesn't frankly fit. One size doesn't fit all. We need something that fits people for where they are in their development journey and where they are in their professional timeline. So,
no, that makes sense. So what makes coaching fundamentally different from peer collaboration?
So coaching, so the accelerator program, so really this question really is, so what makes the field different from the arena? Because the coaching is happening on the field, and the peer program is really more in the arena level. So the coaching is facilitated, right? So it is an expert W3 integrator. Right now, that's me. I fully intend to, and I already have people in mind. I already have integrators in mind that I want to have join me at the W3 expert integrator level. They're integrator facilitated, expert integrator facilitated cohorts, about 5 to 7 integrators in a group with that facilitation, and their expert integrator will lead them through kind of this journey, anywhere from like 3 to 12 months, depending on the individual. That'll be part of their plan. But the idea is to help them meet and go beyond even their objectives from a professional development standpoint. So it's a guided journey. And as part of that, there's going to be a monthly coaching session in addition to those weekly level 10s. Those weekly level 10s are very focused on what's going on inside of their individual businesses, as well as teaching them through that level 10 format. So it's a teaching. It's really a teaching format of coaching and development. Same thing on the individual coaching. It's just not inside the level 10. It's just the one-on-one or one-on-two coaching. So that's a different experience than where there's an expert integrator leading it. Then at the peer-led communities, at the arena, when we form these groups, they will not be facilitated. They will be self-led, right? So 5 to 7 to 10, whatever the number we decide that they want to form into, probably not more than 10. 7 is kind of on the high side, but they self-form into these mastermind groups, and we can help assign them, but they self-manage each other themselves within some guidelines, because we want them to find value and continuity. So we do want them to meet twice a month, not every week and not only once a month. So we're going to give them that guideline. Whether they think they need 90 minutes in that meeting or they just want to keep it to 60 minutes, that's up to them. What they talk about, that's up to them. But they're going to have the common language of the W3 curriculum, the W3 structure. When new stuff comes out, they'll have access to all of that. So they're going to be, they're both the folks on the field in the accelerated coaching program. They're going to have access to everything. The people at the arena, the VIP access, they're going to have access to everything. But if I have to boil it down into a word, because I can get a little bit long-winded, it's the difference is the facilitation, the coaching, right? One of them is self-led. The other one is coached.
Very good. So we've talked about quite a bit today, as we always do. Try and pack as much information into these as we can. Let's sum this one up. And Brian, just tell us, why is real integrator work such an important part of development? This is going to kind of sum it all up.
Yeah, and we touched on it a little bit earlier, but it's hard to get good at being an integrator without being an integrator, right? And it's hard to get good at being an integrator without talking about it, learning what's going right and wrong, and having more than your own direct experience. It's hard to get good at cooking by reading a cookbook. It's hard to get good at fighting by reading a book about karate or MMA. Some things you just need to do to figure out how to do it. And if you want to get good at it, you have to do it. You have to do it, make mistakes. You have to do it and do things right. You have to do it and learn. And so you need to get in those seats. And so that's why we structured it this way. And that's why I feel it's so important to keep our fractional integrators out there at every level with coaching, because that can help a company win and find value at integrators at every level. And it can help the integrator develop because they're actually doing integrator work.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. And I, once again, still putting my vote in for keeping the stadium analogy. I really like it a lot.
It's not going anywhere.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank everybody once again for joining us on the Integrator Arena podcast. Again, I'm here with Brian. He helps integrators become brilliant in the basics and win. So, Brian, what do you always say at the end?
All right. Well, here at W3, we're on a mission to change companies and lives by transforming proven leaders into winning integrators. So, and that's really what happens when you make these connections. We do change companies, and the people that are involved in them, their lives change as well. And that's at every level. So look forward to doing a lot more of that with hopefully some of you out there.
Perfect. Well, anybody has any questions, I know you can always get a hold of Brian at any time, and he'd be more than happy to help answer any of your questions. So Brian, once again, thanks for joining me on the Integrator Arena podcast. I look forward to our next talk so I can get just a little smarter.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Always a pleasure.
Hey, take care.